Year 7 of my secret crush on Lucas. And I married him. On our wedding night, he handed me divorce papers. 1 year, then we part on good terms. After saying it, he glanced at my lace nightgown. Chuckling, he asked, Sterling, is something on your mind? Later, the year was up. When do we go to City Hall? He acted deaf. Who was that guy just now? I laughed. CEO, is something on your mind? Before we go on, please subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're listening. Fresh out of college, internship just turned full-time. Lucas found me. Asked if I'd be willing to marry him. A contract marriage. 1 year, then a $10 million payout. A girl can't cling to pride when there's money on the line. I was afraid that if I hesitated even a second, he'd change his mind. From picking up the marriage license to the wedding night, less than a month. Evening. I dolled myself up on purpose. Had just slipped into the lace nightgown. Lucas handed me a stack of papers, divorce papers. 1 year, then we part on good terms. He looked a lot more grown up than in high school. Refined, aloof. I blinked. Sign it right now? Lucas looked pressed for time. Just give it back before the contract expires. I nodded. Where are you sleeping tonight? Silence. I wanted to smack myself. Lucas paused in the middle of folding the papers. After a beat, he curved his lips in a fleeting smile. His gaze dropped, deliberate. Sterling. He chuckled. Something on your mind? Following his eyes, I slapped a hand over my chest. Shameless. Lucas raised an eyebrow, leaning lazily against the doorframe, as if he enjoyed teasing me. On our big night, how about sleeping together? We're both adults, and with me dressed like this, any guy would misread. I was angry, and guilty. I slammed the door shut. He was still the same cocky punk from high school. After that, I never saw Lucas again. Heard he'd flown overseas on business. Living in a mansion, husband never home, works for me. Late at night. An engine rumbled in the driveway. 7 months later, Lucas was back. He slept in the guest room. I relaxed, rolled over. Then my eyes flew open. Last night I drank too much and crashed in the guest room. I'd also dug out the love letter I wrote him years ago, and it was still in there. The hallway was cold and quiet. I cracked the guest room door open. Water ran in the bathroom. Lucas was showering. I held my breath and felt around. Nothing. The next second, the bathroom door opened. Lucas wore only gray sweatpants. Skin cool and pale. Droplets slid down the defined lines of his upper body. Our eyes met. He said flatly, hiding someone? I glanced at his abs again. Nope. Lucas toweled his hair unhurriedly. Need something? I made up an excuse. Checking if you're hiding a woman. Lucas laughed. If I were hiding one, I wouldn't be here tonight. So you were with other women these 7 months? Realizing I'd misspoken, I shut up. Lucas wouldn't let it go, eyes sparkling with amusement. You want to chat about that? No explanation came. I swallowed the sour feeling and started to speak. His phone rang. Lucas pulled on a tee and took the call on the balcony. English. I tuned him out and searched again. Finally, I lay down and pretended to sleep. Lucas would never share a bed, I'd look properly tomorrow. Just couldn't let him find it first. Half dreaming, I felt the mattress dip. That night I dreamed. High school Lucas. Transfer from Hong Kong, top grades, good looks, loaded. For a while his name buzzed through the whole school. He'd had a girlfriend. Back then I didn't know what they'd fought about. She cried. Lucas slung his blazer over his shoulder and leaned down to coax her. I stood not far away. The world went silent. Dreams make no sense. 1 second, bitter heartache. Next, I dreamed I was pulling up radishes. The bedroom light suddenly clicked on. Still half dreaming, I mumbled, why won't it come out? Lucas exhaled hard. Open your eyes and see what you redoing. Just as I tried to open them, a warm hand circled my wrist and moved it away. Lucas got up and stalked to the bathroom, not waiting for me. He said coldly, keep it up and you're sleeping on the floor. So mean. Weekend morning, I woke to bright daylight. I patted the place beside me, cold. I took my time over breakfast. Lucas was already waiting in the car. Today we visited the family manor. Inside the car, not a word. I finally said, sorry about last night. Lucas was handling emails. He glanced sideways. What were you looking for last night? I hesitated, then confessed. A love letter. You wrote it? Lucas's lazy gaze rested on my face. He asked, secret crush? My cheeks warmed. My senior in high school. Super handsome, okay. I looked straight at him while saying it. Lucas gave a soft scoff. As if it didn't matter. I felt like a clown. What was I expecting? So what now that we're married? I looked up, startled. Lucas met my eyes, teasing. I sleep between you two? When we got out, I tugged his cuff, bold. Full act, remember? I want to hold hands. Lucas's expression didn't shift. Still stuck on the earlier topic. So, do I sleep between you two or what? He smiled. Yet it felt hollow, nothing behind it. A man apparently easygoing but actually cold inside. I said, I'll throw you the grandest funeral ever. The words dropped. Lucas looked down, seemingly truly amused. Then, languidly, he laced our fingers. Voice low, you'd have to stay widowed for me, wife. At the manor gate. I knew he was acting. Knew the hand-holding wasn't real. Still, when I heard wife, my pulse stuttered. The moment we stepped into the living room. From New Year to year-end, the third son finally brings his bride home? Lucas was the third child. Probably dodging an arranged marriage and accidentally picked me. Lucas smiled thinly. Didn't want to disturb your peace, Mom. More like afraid I'd disturb yours. The middle-aged woman in the shawl gave a cold laugh and looked at me. Sterling, come pour me tea. There was no tea in front of her, meaning I was to make it. I started to stand. A hand pressed my wrist down. Lucas leaned back, toying with my fingers. Two nannies standing right there, why her? I'd like tea brewed by my daughter-in-law, is that too much? Of course. My wife isn't here to be used. Stop acting. I'm falling even harder. The Sterling children were busy. So the rule was everyone must dine and stay over on this day each month. The dining table felt frigid. More like a boardroom than a family bedroom. Nerves flared again. I can take the guest room. That would breach the contract clause. If Sterling's actions revealed the sham marriage, she'd pay $5 million in damages. I changed the subject. You and your mom don't get along? Lucas, still on his laptop, answered absent-mindedly, falling for me? Want to save me? Didn't the woman who kept you company 7 months ago save you? He laughed. If I had someone I loved, why marry you? So he didn't have anyone he liked now. A pang of disappointment. I opened my mouth. Everything went black. Later I heard the couple next door had quarreled. A glass of water spilled into a socket. Whole second floor blacked out. By then I was already seated on Lucas's thighs. I wasn't losing out. I just wanted to be close. I'm scared. Lucas paused. I'm more scared. The room was dark. Scared of what? His voice carried playful laziness. Losing both money and beauty. Years of social drinking had sharpened him. He could read hearts. Almost like he saw through me. I played dumb. Then why did you marry me? Lucas, emotionless, arm draped over my knees. You're obedient and short on cash. When was I ever short? Realizing something, I let it slide. Seeing his brows pinch. I expected the usual, keep it up and sleep on the floor. Lucas. Bet I can guess what you're thinking. Close enough to feel each other's breath. Lucas's gaze brushed my lips. Then guess whether I dar. In the moonlight. His eyes were pitch black. I saw myself in them. I whispered, probably dare. Lucas hadn't expected that. His fingertip tapped my knee. A moment. His Adam's apple dipped. He looked away. No condom. Only then did I realize we weren't talking about the same thing. Lights finally came on. I jumped up, flustered. Palms sweaty. Jerk. I fled into the bathroom. When I came out, Lucas was still at the computer. White shirt sleeves rolled up, profile sharp and clean. As if nothing had happened. I felt twisted inside. Deep night. Sharing a bed again. He finished showering. I instinctively tugged the quilt. Relax, I won't touch you. Tone flat. Was that to reassure me? Or to kill my last hope? I turned my back in a huff. Turn off the light, too bright. Lucas obliged. You sleep first. I snorted. Don't worry, I won't touch you either. Once you're asleep who knows? My ears burned. Remembering last night's grip. Seemed kind of, more than a handful. Lucas was always busy. He came home late, most nights I was already asleep. On the phone my bestie groaned. Sleeping next to a hottie and you're actually asleep? I whispered, he doesn't like me. Obviously. If he did, he'd have pounced on wedding night. Seduce him day after day till you get a baby, get it? I hung up. Made sense. I couldn't win his heart, so I'd sample the goods. Lost in thought. The department head called, CEO wants this delivered, little Sterling, be a dear. He shoved the folder into my arms and left. All these years, I'd swallowed my pride. I'd swallow it again. I inhaled, once I had that 10 million, I'd quit on the spot. Location, the hotel across the street. Perfect chance to see Lucas. I counted room numbers. A woman opened the door. A woman wrapped in a towel. She must have seen the company folder. She smiled sweetly. My boyfriend stepped out. You're his employee, right? That instant. I couldn't name the feeling. I nodded blankly, handed her the file, turned and left. Steps unsteady. Mind blank. I wanted to call and ask. But I realized I had no right. The marriage was fake. I felt awful, on the verge of tears. I hit a bar and ordered 2 club hosts. Only then could I breathe again. My bestie couldn't make it last minute. Over the phone she warned me to drink less. Don't accidentally cook the rice on the way home. I couldn't hear her. Phone lit up again. Lucas, where are you? I ignored it, then replied seconds later, pulling an all-nighter tough day. That was actually thoughtful. My eyes stung a little. I thumped the keys like a venting jackhammer. Glad you finally noticed. Want me to come over and pour you a drink? My head snapped up. Neon lights rippled across the room. I exhaled in relief. Lucas was off enjoying some beauty's arms. No way he was here. As I pulled my gaze back, I swept it carelessly, and locked eyes with a man a few yards away. Lucas stood in the shadows, a spark of ember at his fingertips. Immaculate suit, taller than sin. He lifted the cigarette, took a slow drag. Through the haze his gaze settled on me, flat and unreadable. At that moment I had a club host on each side, one pouring wine, one feeding me fruit. While I stared, slack-jawed, Lucas flicked the butt dead and strolled over. The host on my left sensed danger. Purple cutie, who's that? Looks scary. For a second I had no answer. He kept whining, aren't we enough? Calling in a third, huh? Say something, purple cutie. Lucas angled his head. Say that nickname one more time. The host shrank into silence. I stood awkwardly, dizziness buzzing in my skull. Let's go home, Lucas looked entertained. So which couch do I get tonight? Relax, you won't be wedged in the middle. He huffed a laugh. So I'm off the clock, am I? Face like frost, he clamped my wrist and steered me toward the exit. I yanked back, fury bubbling. You're allowed to line up girlfriends, but I can't have fun? Let me make mistakes too. What a line, let me make mistakes. His brows snapped together. What girlfriend? She finished her shower and was waiting for you. His phone rang. He took the call one-handed while pulling out his card to settle the tab, including the cost of my 2 hosts. How generous. How wonderfully kind. The moment he hung up he tapped another text, then looked at me. Who taught you to act this unreasonable when you're drunk? I slid into the back seat. Who's the unreasonable one here? Lucas sighed inwardly, arguing was pointless. You're wasted. Quit it. The phone rang again, my department supervisor. I answered and a tirade burst out. I told you 913, where the hell did you dump that file? The client's cooling heels in the boardroom, the CEO's on my back, pack your desk if you walk in late tomorrow. My mood was already trash, alcohol had deleted my filter. You responsibility-dodging jerk. You said 319. Then I froze. Wait, had I messed up? Silence on the other end, then, Sterling, brilliant. Screw up then, bite my head off. If I were CEO you'd be canned on the spot. In a reckless flash I shot back, he's right here, tell him yourself. Speaker was on. I lolled against the glass, eyes shut, half dreaming. The voice beside me was low, smooth, lethal. Talk to her like that again and you'll be clearing out your desk, not her. Rain started. When I woke we were home. Neither Lucas nor the night had disturbed me. He scooped me up, arm hooked under my knees. His chest carried warmth and the scent of damp night air. I slit my eyes open. Watching him in the quiet, I suddenly pictured high school Lucas. Cafeteria, sports field, that convenience store brush by, each scene had lived inside me for years. Maybe my stare burnt too bright, looking past him at a ghost. Lucas stopped dead. Lowered his gaze. Who are you seeing? My cheeks were flushed. I mumbled, the one I like. Fingers at my waist clenched. His irises chilled, maybe recalling the love letter I'd hunted for that night. He set me on the bed, tilted my chin, forced me to meet him. Sterling. Look hard. His voice was gravel. I'm not him. Hangover memories stuttered like bad film. Lucas rose half an hour before me. Shower running, closet hanger sliding, normal sounds, zero chatter. We drifted into a cold war of who'd speak first. I cracked first, businesslike. That misdelivered file last night, was it critical? Lucas nodded his tie, morning light stroked his face unfairly pretty. Marketing proposal, no big deal. Relief. He glanced over. Nothing else you want to say? Recalling last night's mortifying meltdown, I shook my head and backed away. Nope. As I passed, he caught my arm, sighing. I will not cheat on you while we're married. I needed a moment to realize he meant my little host bar adventure. Got it. I'm heading down. He wouldn't let the topic drop, sure I was still mad. Truly, no girlfriend. His gaze was dark, earnest. My thoughts slowed, envy pricked me for the girl who once owned his youth. Dating him must be like walking through a city of fireworks. Are you explaining to me? Lucas hesitated, wondering himself. What do you think? We said nothing. He kept studying me. I felt needles under my skin and finally asked, what exactly are you thinking? Leaning against the wardrobe, he lifted a corner of his mouth. That you apparently kiss strangers when you're drunk. I didn't kiss him, did I? All day Zach acted like he'd uncovered classified intel. Coffee, hot cocoa, sugary apologies shuttled to my desk. I ignored him, brooding, when could I have possibly lip-attacked Lucas? Evening brought a client dinner. I'd worked on the pitch, so I tagged along. Lucas arrived late and, of course, the only free seat was beside me. Zach, ever the weathercock, toasted me repeatedly, feigning camaraderie. The client teased him, got a crush? That attentive. Zach waved both hands, eyes flicking to Lucas. Sterling has a boyfriend. Not wanting to feed rumors, I clarified. No, I'm single. Half the table froze for a beat. Then conversation rolled on, smooth as ever. The client laughed. Youngsters chase careers, marriage can wait. Still, our CEO here's pushing 30, let me introduce my daughter sometime. Lucas never lost his mild smile. Sorry, I'm married. Gasps here, blank stares there. Zach belonged to the second group, his expression flicked from shock to contempt. Our contract marriage had been an open secret between us, never intended for public airtime. Suddenly things felt off. I sneaked a text under the table. CEO, what are you doing? His screen lit, he glanced down. Ignored it. I nudged his knee. At last he typed. Not interested in the guy's daughter. So that was it. I lowered my lashes. Alright. A new bubble popped, I'm taken. Single people shouldn't talk to me. Nutcase. That meal I ate in monk-like silence. Restroom break. On the way out I ran into a high school classmate. We chatted all the way to the hotel doors, laughing. The Bentley at the curb honked, impatient. I hugged my friend goodbye and ducked into the car. Lucas eyed the windshield, tone flat. That much fun? I was texting my bestie about bumping into her old crush, so I only half answered. Yeah, classmate. The one you wrote the love letter to? My thumb froze. Not him. Why? Cheating breaches the contract, you know that? I nodded. I know. He fell silent. A long hush. Mid-ride he spoke out of nowhere. Did you marry me because I look like the guy you liked? My brain short-circuited. Say yes and I'm dead, say no and I'm lying. An outrageous idea surfaced. Lucas. What? Are you jealous? He seemed entertained. Just asking. He stared out the window, voice casual. Nothing more. I felt I'd slugged myself. Night. Same bed, separate blankets, zero incidents. I trusted him completely now. Half asleep, my cheeks were pinched. I blinked awake. Lucas hovered over me. I don't get it, he murmured. Why were you so happy talking to him? I couldn't follow. What's wrong with you? Irritation flashed across his face. A second later he killed the light. Nothing. Sleep. Night dragged, dreams swarmed. I saw Lucas again, our first real crossing. Final exam season, his classroom was my homeroom. He sat at my desk. I deliberately left my textbook on top, name tag showing. When the test ended I sprinted back. As hoped, he'd tucked the book inside my desk. He must know my name now. Classroom bustled. Lucas, sleepy-eyed, unfolded himself. Maybe he looked my way, maybe not. He asked, what did you leave in here? Smells great. Oh, an Artemisia sachet. I froze. I'd been using it to fight insomnia. Just a sleep aid. Didn't distract you, did it? Lucas chuckled, rubbing his neck. Nah. Friends called him from the door, he left. We brushed sleeves, silent. His words looped in my head. In the corridor I watched him laugh with friends. As if feeling the stare, he glanced back. I dropped my gaze. Snatches of talk drifted. Stella's exam over too. Why aren't you fetching her, dude? She'll lose it. Lucas's voice was soft. We broke up. Damn, who ended it? Their steps faded. I was never the type to chase. Mom said, if a guy likes you, he'll make it known. Life is long. Back then grades eclipsed everything else. I stood still, rain-fresh tiles mixing their damp earth reek with jasmine. A hollow weight stuffed my chest. I woke before sunrise. even breathing beside me. The man who barely spoke in my dreams now shared my bed. I tilted gently, studying his profile in the dim. Who was he dreaming of? Our schedules diverged, we didn't ride to work together. The second I reached my cubicle I sensed furtive glances. A friendly colleague spilled it. Rumor said I'd broken up the boss's marriage. No mystery who started it. Before I confronted him, Zach bulldozed over, slapping down a folder. Read it. If upper management hadn't caught it, how much do you think your screw-up would have cost? I didn't compile those numbers. Yeah? Then who did? Figure it out before you face the manager. Confusion hit, I questioned myself. After a careful scan I looked up. You personally oversaw this project. Now you're dumping the blame on me, unprofessional, don't you think, Supervisor Morgan? Zach's smile was ice, eyes raking over me. New girl's got a crush on the boss, plays mistress, and acts smug about it, impressive. Loud enough for half the floor to hear. I'd kept my marriage quiet, explaining a divorce later would be worse. I had no choice but to deny it. Who said I like him? The CEO and I have nothing going on. I added, and I'm not taking the fall for this project. Even if you drag it all the way to the CEO, I won't cover for you. The words had just left my mouth. The next second, what are you two talking about? A voice I knew too well. Lucas stood in the doorway of the office. My stomach clenched. How long had he been there? How much had he heard? Zach recovered first, the classic bully who folds to power, and gave a forced laugh. CEO, just kidding around with a coworker. Lucas walked over and casually flipped through the file in question. Sterling and I really have nothing going on, he said without looking at me. There'll be a vote in the meeting shortly. A layoff vote. Zach had plenty of petty tricks up his sleeve. Squeezing interns. Stealing credit. His reputation was mud. So when he packed up and left that afternoon, no one even bothered with polite condolences. I felt fantastic, couldn't have been happier. I checked the calendar. Today was the day we were supposed to go back to the family manor. I hesitated a few seconds, then tapped out a message. Heading to Mom's tonight? The reply came fast. Yeah. Wait for me after work? What exactly are we to each other? Why should I wait? The man could hold a grudge. I stared at the words and somehow tasted something else behind them. I was about to type back when, is Lucas in today? A delicate voice. I looked up. I knew her. Lucas's girlfriend from high school. The receptionist explained that without an appointment she couldn't go upstairs. Nothing to do with me, I thought, ready to leave. But Stella called after me. She walked over, lips curving. I recognize you. That night you got into Lucas's car. Gentle as silk, she asked, are you too close? They say you can't hide real liking. In college Lucas had a project site at a uni, right in my department. I'd run into him a few times. Friends sensed something and teased me. Did I have a crush on Lucas? Me, the queen of denial, always answered no before my brain caught up. Now I stayed quiet. Something urgent? Stella looked almost shy. Not really urgent. He's probably still mad at me, so I came to the office. You know, right? He chased me first. We dated twice. I'm his only ex. Of course I knew. They'd broken up near the end of high school, reunited in college, failed at long distance, split again. But who asked you? I realized she was doing it on purpose, telling me and the whole company. I kept my face blank. I'd better get back to work. She stopped me again. Could you let him know I'm waiting? My bright mood curdled. Even Lucas's last text felt like mockery. Quitting time arrived. I deliberately lagged behind. Of course I ended up in the elevator with him. Eyes everywhere in this building. I instinctively stepped away. I kept my distance even after we got out. Lucas finally dropped the act. Sterling. Huh? Am I some kind of dirty secret? Way to objectify yourself. My lips twitched. Your ex is waiting for you. He acted as if he hadn't heard, irritation clear. What are you throwing a tantrum about? Before I could finish, Stella called his name a few steps away. Me standing there felt redundant. But my wrist was caught. Lucas led me past her, colder than ice. I might as well have been a purse dangling from his arm. I glanced around frantically. Lucas, people will see. Are you insane? He kept walking. Yeah, certifiably. We reached the working garage. Stella had followed, eyes rimmed red after one look at our joined hands, voice thick. You won't answer my calls or texts, and now this. You don't have to provoke me. I'm not giving up. Lucas gave a short laugh. Stella pulled herself together. Sorry, I get carsick. Would you mind taking the back seat? She looked at me so softly I almost fell in love myself. Before I could answer, I was scooped into the passenger seat. Pathetic. Lucas shut the door and glanced at Stella. If you're carsick, don't get in a car. Silence the whole ride. Red light. Lucas stopped. I didn't know she'd show up at the office. I gave a small O. He frowned, waited 2 beats. Nothing else you want to ask? I thought about it, rumors had told me everything. When Lucas got back together with Stella freshman year, I was still a high school sophomore. Word was, on her birthday he'd flown home alone, planning a surprise, only to run into her coming out of a cinema with another guy. Nope. Lucas exhaled like I'd punched him. Tell me about you, then. Like what? Still in touch with that senior? He meant my former secret crush. I fought a smile. Yep. The light turned green. The car shot forward, laced with temper. Lucas had meetings the next day. The manor was too far, so we didn't stay. On the drive back I suddenly felt drained. Chilly, sleepy. Once home I realized I was running a fever. A cold had struck out of nowhere. I watched him wring out a towel and lay it on my forehead. The tendons on the back of his hand faintly raised, distracting. I looked away, cheeks hotter. Thanks. He tested my palm. Feeling lousy? I shook my head. Manageable. Lucas stayed quiet, eyes on me. Is he really that great? The leap in topic left me drowsy. I smiled. The absolute best. All fight had drained out of Lucas. He sat there a long while, staring at the bed. Finally he stood. His downward gaze snagged on a pink envelope half hidden between the nightstand and the wall. The love letter I'd hunted for. He bent slowly and picked it up. Already opened. Reading someone's mail is shameless. He'd never cared about face. He wanted to see just how terrific that guy was. First line, Dear Lucas of Class 3-1, hello. I'd agonized over every word. But Lucas never showed for the graduation dinner, vanished from campus. So I never delivered it. I'd written, Dear Lucas of Class 3-1, hello. I'm Sterling from Class 1-3. You probably don't know me. But I've known you for ages. On the stage at the opening ceremony. You said you'd go into AI. The teacher asked what happens when robots replace workers and people starve. You answered, I'll start companies in every field, so more people can eat. You know what? I want to be someone like you. I like that about you, so much it's embarrassing. Don't laugh, okay? I heard you're heading to college in the States. I don't want to bother you. Or nerve myself to say hi. Hope everything goes well, great grades, stay safe. My own grades roller coaster, but I'll work hard to catch up. Also, you in uniform look 10,000 times better than anyone else. When I woke, the fever had broken. Voices drifted from the living room, Lucas's little sister, back from studying abroad and short on allowance, hitting her brother up for cash. At the table Lucas pressed his palm to my forehead, satisfied. Took 2 days off for you. Rest up. I nodded, noticing his ear tips were pink. What's with you? He stared, suddenly adrift. What did you say? The sister rolled her eyes for me. Sis said she can't wait to spend the money you earn. I blinked. I never, watch, someone's about to spread his tail. Lucas slid a card across. No limit. Swipe away. Maybe he wasn't the most thoughtful husband. But the way he handed over that card was downright thoughtful. Before I could speak, the girl whispered, third sis-in-law, split it 50-50? It was the company's anniversary, partners sent heaps of flowers and gifts. Too much for Lucas's Fice, so he rerouted them to me. I didn't play coy, accepted everything. Free stuff is free. Our relationship became prime gossip. Some claimed the CEO had been too rough and I'd taken sick leave because of injuries. I couldn't be bothered to correct the rumors. That day was Sterling's birthday, time to visit the manor again. In the car I toyed with a gift that had just arrived, a pink diamond necklace. Lucas looked pleased. Like it? I nodded. Love it. How do people pick such perfect things? He smiled. As long as you do. The manor blazed with lights tonight, Sterling was throwing a banquet. Yet the main table stayed mostly silent. Sterling asked, third son, been busy lately? Lucas neither admitted nor denied. Why? Still regal, she said, too busy? Then fold Sterling back in, let your brothers help manage. Absorption into Sterling would put him under her thumb again. Lucas's smile turned sardonic while he sipped his tea. I sensed the shift and tugged his sleeve under the table. He laced his fingers through mine. Mother, it's your birthday, must you start daydreaming? The table fell pin-drop silent. Of all the children, only Lucas dared talk back. Sterling, unable to climb down, sat ramrod straight. Butler, show the outsiders out. Lucas was used to it. No need. I stayed mute, letting him lead me away through the staring crowd. Later I learned, Sterling couldn't have children, but an empire needs heirs. All 3 sons and the daughter were fathered by the late Sterling with other women, approved by her. She brought each child home, had them recorded in the family register, then drilled them like a dynasty that refused to die, school, marriage, every syllable scripted. From birth they never knew their crime, only that they lived trapped inside the manor. Lucas alone rebelled. In his teens she shipped him to a family friend on the mainland, which was how he ended up at a public high school. On the drive back he still hadn't let go of my hand, mired in dark mood. I bit my lip, hunting for words, when I spotted a familiar silhouette by the security booth. Lucas noticed too, eyes unreadable. "Wait here," he said. The moment Stella saw Lucas step out, tears fell. Lucas. Leaning against the car, he lit a cigarette, exhaling before he spoke. "Haven't seen you in years and you've taken up stalking?" She didn't deny it. "I'm sorry." He gave a cold chuckle, then said flatly, "Our breakup was civil. You wanted to get back together, couldn't handle long distance, hooked up with some club guy, fine, we're adults. I told you, choose and don't regret." Stella never expected him to air it baldly. "Lucas. I just missed you so much." He glanced at the darkening sky, patience gone. "Exes should stay dead. I'm married, the past is past. I respect you, return the favor." Enough had been said. I sat in the car, every single word reaching my ears. Just as I thought. The man I had set my heart on was perfectly normal, never the clingy type. A truly, utterly decent guy. Back home, I remembered the vanished love letter. I decided to go with the original plan. Tell him how I felt. Lucas watched me pace, first flipping the pillow, then bending to peer under the bed. Finally he pulled me down. More precisely, onto his lap. My heart pounded. "Have you been drinking?" Lucas shook his head. "Scared?" I shook mine too. "You and Stella broke up ages ago." He laughed silently. "I meant, scared of my family?" I thought it over seriously. "I'm marrying you, not your mother." He said nothing, just looked at me. His gaze low, tender, pouring straight into my heart like water. His hand settled up my waist. A barely there brush. Silence all around. 1 beat, 2. Our mouths a fraction apart. I wasn't ready, instinct made me dodge a hair's breadth. I cursed myself, coward, why flinch? Lucas came back to himself, eyes still locked on me. I couldn't take that stare. "I'm taking a shower." I bolted, flustered. Inside the bathroom I patted my burning cheeks in the mirror and swore at myself again. The next second the door opened. Lucas came in. I spun around reflexively. His kiss crashed over me. He gripped my waist, lifting me onto the marble counter. One palm cupped my cheek while he tilted my head and kissed me. Tongue slid, breath steepened. Heat scorched. So this is what kissing him feels like, blushing, heart racing, shivers that won't stop. I lost track of time. Lucas drew back slowly. A sheen of moisture clung to his lips, mine. "Horse," he asked, "can we?" I knew he was reserved, but this reserved? He still asks. Face scarlet, I tried to push. He caught my wrists, fingers interlacing. Smiling, he bent and kissed me again. From bathroom to bed. Knees nudged apart. Every breath smelled of him, delicious. Arid. Rivulet. He slipped free. His kisses dotted ear to neck. In the haze, "Lucas, don't bite. Don't squeeze." He kept me up all night. And once more at dawn before his big meeting. He kissed my forehead and told me to sleep. When I woke it was already noon. Mind blank. My cheeks burned again. I opened my phone. On the screen, the money, deposited. I'd almost forgotten. The contract marriage, 1 year, ended next month. At least he's polite. Paid early. Lucas walked out of the boardroom to disaster. The CFO, his co-founder, stood waiting. Lucas stared at the deadline. "You could have warned me." The guy looked innocent. "You said she needed cash, so I transferred it first thing. I even asked, what if she runs once she gets it? Why stick around, wait for Chinese New Year?" I couldn't stay in that house. I went to help at my best friend's bubble tea shop, Bean. To strangers it looked like I held 2 jobs. In quiet moments I stared at the balance on my phone. Rubbed my sore lower back. Not a bad deal. Yet my chest ached. My friend shoved tissues at me. "Lucky brat, why cry?" I sniffled. "Do you think I'm too practical? If you were, you'd be grinning ear to ear right now." I did grin. Made me laugh. Books say a good life, a great woma. N means toughness, reason, hard work, steer clear of love, wed with caution. Yet I'm tough, then desperate for company, rational, then wild to flip the world the finger. After work, 28 of 30 days I fantasize quitting, quit or not, I just want out. Loving someone new feels impossible, the one I like is simply too good. I wanted a happy ending with him, doesn't that count as a good life? My phone on silent, I opened it later to 7 missed calls. All Lucas. When it rang again I picked up straight off. The divorce papers you sent? Signed and on the table. Lucas let a beat pass. When did I ever send papers? A customer stepped up, someone from the office upstairs, chatty every visit. My friend nudged me. I glanced outside. Lucas leaned against his car, polite enough not to enter, just waiting. When the queue cleared, I washed my hands and went out. Why are you here? My tone was awful. He straightened slowly. If I don't come, my wife runs. His eyes flicked to my apron. Isn't this tiring? Last night flashed back. On impulse I snapped, spare me. Went to City Hall. I'm free anytime. He ignored that. Who's the guy just now? I stared a while, uneasy. CEO, something on your mind? This time he answered. Face all really? He said, your love letter says you like me, your mouth says you don't. I spent the night worrying you'd think me shallow, sending flowers and diamonds like mad, can't you see I'm chasing you? I blinked slowly, processing. Some of those gifts still sit on my desk, unopened. Indescribable feeling, like my 17-year-old self pounding invisible drums inside my chest. I frowned. You found my letter, didn't tell me, and you read it? How can a person torment themselves this much? I belatedly went Cold War solo and trapped myself on a high cliff. But next day his call came again. Dinner together? I bit my lip. What? Lucas paused. The letter's on your desk. Shift had ended, the office was empty. Back from the restroom I saw an envelope in. Deed. Not my handwriting, bold, forceful strokes. Tears stung. Sterling, Class 1 to 3, hi. I'm 28-year-old Lucas. Sorry this reply is so late. I now run several companies, so I hope I've lived up to your hopes. You never have to chase anyone's footsteps. I don't want you exhausted. Just be yourself, always. Also, I honestly didn't know you then. But I've gone and married you. We wed in a rush. I flew overseas right after to list the firm. Never got to make a proper confession. My parents are gone, last relationship 4 years back, career steady now, I can cook, no bad habits, I swear you won't suffer. And, of course, the line that matters most, I want to say it aloud. The call stayed live. Electric hum, heartbeat. His voice, deep, sterling, I like you. I turned woodenly. Lucas stood in the doorway. He pocketed the phone, smiling gently. A tear slid free. He hugged me lightly. I want us to stay together, can we? No contract, just us, for real. His tone earnest, probing. Half laughing, half crying, I whispered at last, truth is, you never had to chase. Lucas exhaled, relieved. After a moment, now I'm ruined, money gone, beauty snared, he sighed against my neck, and my whole life mortgaged to boot. I swatted him. Quit the drama. Warm in his arms. My heart swollen. I know the name of this, wish fulfilled. A rare, sweet wish fulfilled. Luckily the office stayed empty. Lucas pressed me against a cubicle and kissed me a long while. Something struck me. Lucas. If I hadn't needed money, hadn't said yes, what then? Would we have missed this life? He brushed my lips again, gaze gentle. I'd have found another way. Epilogue Sterling announced she was moving inland. Even if she relocates to the Pacific seabed, Lucas no longer cares. Fresh off a flight from the States, he fields her calls about meeting some arranged date, tuning them out. That day dining with a friend, he bumped into Sterling. She nodded at his friend, a casual hi. Her glance grazed him, feather light. Lucas's gaze lingered. The friend said, she's from my PR team, keen worker. Know her? He shook his head. Looks familiar. Old school pickup line, dude. All in jest. Lucas didn't mind. She did look familiar. He later recalled, high school exam hall, her sachet lulled him into the only complete nap of his life. His mother scolded him for an hour on the phone. Those days he was launching his startup, romance the last thing on his mind. He next saw her in a restaurant, tipsy, heading to the restroom alone, risky. He loitered in the corridor, planning to leave once she was safe inside. Instead she walked straight toward him. Lucas straightened, ready to speak. She rose on tiptoe and pecked his lips. Sloppily cupping his face, she slurred, I'm Sterling, remember it. Accidental theft of a kiss, he chose not to fuss. Yet the name stuck. Around then Sterling partnered with the university for a project. He gave evening talks, busy daylight hours. A friend mentioned Sterling had toured the lab that afternoon. He logged it in his head, for some reason free that noon, never saw her. Finally he ran into her. A buddy teased, "Does she have a crush on you?" Rattled, she hurried to deny. "Stop it, no way, I don't even know him." "Don't want me, fine. But why so jumpy?" He didn't disturb her, he left. At the time he wanted no relationship, no time, no energy. Until her internship application landed on his desk. What does she want here? Irresponsible woman. The 3 months she interned, they barely spoke. He discovered she held 2 jobs. Short on cash? Not his business. Still, that day in the cafe, he looked across the table. "Hi, I'm Lucas, will you marry me?" Thanks for listening to today's story. If you liked it, please hit like and share with friends. We'd love to hear your take in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more. See you next time.